With 5G, the turnaround time for harm isn't going to be measured in terms of 2, 4, 5 years. It's going to be measured in months. And that there is going to be, and I kid you not, he said, there is going to be a collapse of the proper mental function of our society. We'll be unable to govern, we'll be unable to remember things, and it'll result in a chaotic decay of our culture.
Are you ready to get woke?
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Sasha here. I'm in downtown Vancouver, and we're at a protest, the 5G global protest, to wake people up to what's really going on about 5G. People are revolting all over the world because it's extremely dangerous for human health. Every time they do an experiment, it turns out badly. They did it in Amsterdam, 240 birds dropped out of the sky dead. That actually happened. They had a bunch of firefighters in the States, I believe it was Texas. They put 5G up there. Guess what? They couldn't be in the station. They ran from there. It was horrible. And now my friend is living right across where they set up some 5G in Gastown. I was in that apartment for about 2 hours. I felt sick, and I ran out of there. It's absolutely deadly. There's so many health problems with it, and they want it everywhere. It's brutal. So just the health effects on its own is enough for me to need to have to stop this thing. Never mind that, as far as I can tell, it's really for total surveillance over humankind. We know the devices are being used to spy on people, and it's just bad news. It's literally the end move for total domination of mankind. I realize most people aren't aware of this, but we have to kind of get it out there because it's kind of like there's no choice at this point. So we're here. We got a little protest going on. We're going to talk to some of the people that are here that are awake. These are some of the few people that know what's going on in Canada. Sir, what's going on here today? You want to tell us what's up? What are you doing here?
Well, I came because I am a person against 5G, not only in Canada but globally. I'm a Polish Canadian, so I'm active in Poland too, over the internet as much as possible. What can I add? You summed it up pretty well. You even mentioned the mass control aspect, which is hushed down, and this is, in my opinion, the main purpose. That's why they are rolling it out over our health and lives. That's it.
Okay, beautiful. Thanks for coming out. Bam, high five for you. Ma'am, she's got a big poster. You know she's serious because she's got a big poster. So how's it going? What do you got to say?
Well, long before 5G was proposed, the other levels of Wi-Fi have already been proven to cause cancer, Alzheimer's, all kinds of issues. And 5G is just way amplifying that. It's not just us, it's pets like pollinators, which is our food supply. Kids are more susceptible because they have softer tissues. So one of the signs is making them both sick and stupid. It's insane. It's just suicide, really.
Yeah, I mean, we're already in slow suicide, but this is fast suicide. 5G is absolutely. It's like if you want to get people very sick very quickly, 5G is the solution. It's almost like they said, how do we destroy all life on planet Earth? I know. Let's get these brutal towers up everywhere and get everyone sick at once.
Not even towers. It's not just towers. These are the other systems were towers. These are like on every second house.
Yeah, the mini towers or whatever you want to call them. Yeah,
little boxes and stuff. You can't even see some of them. They're just so.
They're hiding them now. They're making them invisible. They're putting up in trees so we can't see them. That's how sneaky they're being.
And without permission. And the people that are doing this have not done the biological research, don't intend to. They want to hear about it, and are not asking permission to put these things up on our homes.
Well, God bless you for being here. You're doing a good job. Sir, want to come say hello and let us know who you are and what you're doing here?
Yes, my name is Dean. I've been associated with activism against wireless radiation. But a little over 6 years ago, I narrowly survived pancreatic cancer. Narrowly survived it. Now, I don't know what caused my cancer, but I know that wireless radiation is cancer causing. And a lot of people seem to be in a bit of a trance regarding technology. They think, and a lot of people have the naive notion that they say, well, if it wasn't safe, the government wouldn't allow it. And that would be nice to live in a country where that's true, but unfortunately, the government, different governments have been co-opted by major corporations. So I want people to be aware that wireless radiation is not safe. despite its wide use. And I wish everyone to be just to think about health, always think about health, and recognize that if a device is not connected by cords, what's powering it? Now, additionally, I actually feel symptoms if I'm around wireless radiation. I feel some strange sensation in my legs. My understanding is my legs operate as an antenna, which reacts to local emissions of wireless radiation. So, anyway, thank you very much for the interview.
You bring up a good point as well, because I think people are so dumbed down, and they're so used to not feeling anything, because we're always in the EMS, we're always in the blue light, we're so unhealthy in general. People just feel so like shit all the time. They're not even aware when they're in a really strong field that they're feeling worse. That's the crazy thing. And people often don't notice the difference till they go into nature, they have a vacation or something, they feel amazing. Then they get back into a city, and then they feel horrible, and they go, what's going on? It's very interesting, but we're so used to being in these fields that we don't even notice it. I have a friend who was quite sensitive. She gets a pain in her left hip. As soon as she's in any fields, she gets this pain and she goes, there's a field here, I gotta go. So it's very interesting that some people have these little triggers where their body's telling them you're in danger.
Well, actually, I'm fortunate that I actually do feel symptoms because I get a warning. Now, I'm a teacher, so one 10-year-old student of mine told me that she gets a feeling of an itchiness around her ear if she's around wireless radiation. So people have different symptoms, but our bodies are doing their jobs for us as much as they can. The difficulty is that a lot of people, I think, don't want to believe that the government will be bad to them. People should realize that the government is not one monolithic entity. A government is made up of factions. So maybe we can find a friendly faction in government that'd be sympathetic to people's
Similar to doing their job and protecting the population. I mean, that's literally what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to that's their main job, is to make sure people are safe, and they're not doing it. And they haven't been doing it.
Well, that's interesting, isn't it? I would say that Health Canada looks after the financial health of big institutions. Anyway.
That's for sure. All right, thanks for being here. Very good. All right, so we're still here at the 5G protest in downtown Vancouver. There's some really amazing people here who are awake, who know what it is, and they're trying to spread the word. And here's another beautiful man right here. Who are you and what you doing here?
Hi there. My name is Paul LeMay. I was here, well, actually in July, I brought Martin Pald, who's one of the leading scientists and outspoken critics of 5G technology and Wi-Fi and all that other stuff as well. And I was able to bring him to Vancouver and get a public speaking tour organized. And actually we did 7 cities around the Lower Mainland and on Vancouver Island. So that was a real big eye-opener for all of us, of course, and me in particular. My own personal story is one which is kind of interesting because I'm a science writer by profession. And I'm always looking for real evidence, science evidence, and not hokey-pokey stuff. And back in January of this past year, my landlady came to me and said, listen, I'm really worried about 5G, and could you look into it for me? And to be quite honest, I didn't know a lot about it at all. I mean, I knew about the worries of wireless radiation, microwave, because I have a heart condition, which was made worse by exposure to Wi-Fi and other wireless products. I don't have a cell phone, don't own a cell phone. And so I had a heart issue back in 2014, and I was hospitalized for 8 days. And but the point of it is that when January rolled around, I got rid of all wireless in my apartment. I got none. So, and that really helped to remediate things, and we treated my apartment so that it's a quiet zone. But in January, like I say, my landlord came to me and said, could you look into this for me? I did. I started reading the literature, the science literature on this, and I went, my God, this is really calamitous. This is not a small thing. This is a major social issue, a turning point issue that we really have to start looking at carefully.
Bonus points for the use of the word calamitous. Not a lot of people can use that word effectively, and this man did, so he's an educated man.
Yeah, well, yeah, and the literature is out there, believe me, and that's the problem. What I find really disturbing is that the news media is almost dead silent on this question. If you do a little bit of media analysis, if you watch the United States, mainstream networks like ABC and CBS actually have given coverage to this issue in a prominent way. But when it comes to CTV, of course, it's owned by Bell Media, it's dead quiet. And when it comes to the CBC, which is not owned by any of the telecoms, this is also disturbing. We've approached them multiple times to try to do some coverage on this issue. There is it's completely silent. It's crickets. And we just have to ask ourselves, why is that the case? What's going on? And I think it's because there's a profound ignorance. Not, obviously the industry has a big interest in keeping things murky, just like the tobacco industry, right? Well, we need more research. Well, that's not true.
Got to make sure there's enough research. So even though it might be killing millions of people, let's just wait for more research that we're not going to fund. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just keep waiting.
Yeah. No,
Get the towers up now. Take the money now. We'll wait for the research.
The research is in, and in fact, I'm going to cite just one, okay? There's thousands of studies, but I'm going to cite one that is the game-changing study that everybody should know. In September of 2018, Anthony Miller, who is a professor emeritus from the University of Toronto, he's an epidemiologist. He did a study with three other authors, which conclusively showed that wireless radiation is a risk and not a carcinogen, a possible carcinogen, but is a carcinogen. Now, what's really important about Anthony Miller is that Anthony Miller was on the 2011 IARC panel, which is the advisory panel to the WHO, World Health Organization. And that's the organization that took the recommendation from this 2011 review that said wireless radiation is a possible carcinogen. Subsequent research with epidemiology and animal studies, they concluded that it's not a possible carcinogen. It is a carcinogen. It is causal. So in that case, that should be the study that ends the story, ends the debate. And really what we should be talking about is the eventual collapse of the wireless industry, because there will be lawsuits from here on, eventually, harm lawsuits in the billions of dollars, just as we saw with other products, like with tobacco and with Erin Brockovich, with the chromium contamination of the water table. Her law firm is now involved in looking into the lawsuit harm aspect of this. So you know what? When the money starts rolling out the doors and into the court settlements.
Yeah, but the problem, I hope so, but the problem is we know that the people who are really behind all this, they have infinite money. Absolutely, and it's not about the money, it's about the power and the control, and frankly getting people sick, so they're too sick and they're too worried about making money and surviving and feeling like shit. You can't you can't do anything when you feel horrible and you have no energy. So that's actually, at the highest level, it's not even about the money. It's about the absolute domination and submitting everybody. Yeah. It's literally like we're already slaves to a degree, but they want to absolutely decimate humanity. And it's obvious. At this point, just the fact that they're trying to put something like this through tells you everything you need to know. We know it's dangerous, and they're rolling it out anyway. That's all you have to understand about the situation,
I tell you something. Martin Paul, when he came to speak here, one of the things he said during a private reception, which was stunning. We were at a reception where we had doctors, lawyers, and he said, today's technology, as we have 4G, 3G, 2G, it takes literally years before the erosive effects on health become apparent to people. And it can manifest in all kinds of ways. It can be cancer, it could be heart trouble, it could be behavioral issues with children and sleep issues and disturbances and psychological issues. But he said, with 5G, the turnaround time for harm isn't going to be measured in terms of 2, 4, 5 years. It's going to be measured in months. And that there is going to be, and I kid you not, he said, there is going to be a collapse of the proper mental function of our society. We'll be unable to govern, we'll be unable to remember things, and it'll result in a chaotic decay of our culture. It's kind of like when the Romans had lead-lined pipes for their water, and lead is a toxin, and it results in insanity. That's what we're talking about. People are just blind to this technology, thinking it's harmless. If it was any harm, the government would do something about it. Well, actually, no.
You got to be so naive to think that. What with asbestos, with tobacco, with alcohol, so many things in the past we've told her totally fine, it's totally safe. Bullshit. So it's like that. Like, if you don't know at this point that most terror attacks are funded by who? The Central Intelligence Agency. That's a fact. That's a statistical fact that can be proven. That's just what's up. If you're not aware, sure. But I mean, like, it's a very basic. If you come up with a cure for cancer, guess what? You die or you're discredited. What happened to Nikola Tesla, who came up with free energy? He was defunded. And you know what I'm saying? Like, it's the same pattern over and over. You don't have to be intelligent to see it. It's just right in front of you. Same thing's happening again right now. So anyway, so thanks for being here. God bless you. Let's see. Let's talk to some other people. You've been floating around for a while. What's going on? Who are you? What are you doing here?
Well, it's time for people to wake up, I think, is kind of what the deal is.
About 20 years ago was a good time, but yeah, sure.
I was a broadcaster, Green World Radio and stuff at Southwestern Ontario. And even back then, we were worried about the effects of all this electromagnetic radiation on cellular structures, our brain, just our biological functions. And my main concern of being here today is there's no the medical science has put the burden on Bell. Let's talk about this, Bell. On TELUS, let's discuss whether the future is friendly or not. And that they're using the kids up at UBC and the professors as lab rats. They've activated 5G up at UBC. It's shameful. It's a dereliction of duty. I mean, people need to hang on for a second here. Let's have the medical science and the medical studies before imposing this on people without their informed consent. So it's corporate irresponsibility. If Bell's going to have Let's Talk Weekend, let's talk about 5G and the health effects, Bell, before pushing it on us. TELUS, same goes for you. Rogers, same goes to you. CRTC, same goes to you. Shame on all of you. Politicians for not speaking up. Shame on you too.
Yeah, fucking right. Well said. So, same question. Who are you and what are you doing here? And how do we stop the evil 5G?
How do we stop the evil 5G? Very simple. I believe one of the quickest action we can take is just go online and type in your browser InPower, inpower.com. There you can find all the amazing work of Carl Washington. In the last few years, following the smart meters crisis, when they got installed both in US and Canada, and people began to have hypersensitivity to the electro EMF, or RF, call it as you want, he deployed the power of law. So we can now make a lawsuit against basically the complete absence of consent. So there is a violation of the Nuremberg Code, and that is relevant.
Did you hear that? This is really amazing. Yeah, you know about the Empower movement? Yeah, so we should be doing what they did with the smart meters. We should be doing the same thing with 5G. We write them out and we name every single person, and that's it. We get a few hundred of those out. That should do the trick.
Well, let me say it in a very simple way. We humans, scientifically, were born, created, and whatever we believe we have as a religion or whatever the origin is of the human species, we have lived in a world between 20 and 60 hertz. That is called the Schumann resonance. And that is our natural environment. Now, when we begin to talk about megahertz, gigahertz, or any other variation, including millihertz, we are going off the very simple word, which is a hertz, which is a very natural frequency. You can call it, if you want, the sound of Gaia, the voice of Mama. We live on this earth. There is no plan at B. There is only plan at A. So when also not only the small tower guy here, which are going to poison our environment every 100 meters, we have a bigger problem coming up in March and April. It's called Elon Musk and the SpaceX program. He is intending to deploy 40,000 satellites in the low troposphere. And that is crazy, guy, because they deploy millions of watts, and we are talking about gigahertz as a frequency. So we are facing something that is really not fun, because electrosensitivity, it is a problem that all of us have. Some of us feel it in their body. They have rashes, and they have other problems, and heart problem, and any form of disease that can bring about. And today we have a sprawling of what are called autoimmune conditions. And when you ask your rheumatologist, what is autoimmune? They tell you, we don't know. Well, what about the last 20, 30 years? when we are carrying these nice guys that are the companions of our life called cell phones, and we don't realize that they shouldn't be in touch with our body. So it is a problem of 5G in space, a problem of 5G on Earth, and there is no much different with the smart meters.
Serious stuff. So, excellent interview. Thanks for the time.
Thank you.
Wunderbar. We're doing this from a YouTube channel, so you want to just let us know who you are and why you're out here today?
I'm Ted, and I'm with StopSmartMetersBC.com, and we are including everything wireless, cell towers, and especially 5G. Basically, there's many health issues related to 5G and to the current cellular technology. So we're just trying to wake people up, hopefully, before it's too late.
That's my concern too, because once they get 5G up everywhere, it's going to be too late. They've set up 5G right across from where our friends live, and they can't sleep at all. They're getting headaches. They feel horrible. I was in their apartment for about 2.5 hours, and I could not be in there anymore. I felt horrible, like I was dying, and I ran out of there. And that's just one tower right across. Imagine when they're everywhere. You know, it's absolutely crazy what they're trying to do.
Why this is being done is there's a thing called Safety Code 6, which maintains a high level of radiation. We, and a lot of people that are concerned, want it lowered by 10 or 100 times lower so that we can then survive this problem of radiation causing health problems. My view of the reason why Safety Code 6 is still high is that if it was lowered, we would have a financial meltdown because there's so much money being involved with promoting and supporting this radiation, the 5G and for the current cellular. There's so much money given to the government for the sale of the spectrum licenses and for the taxation for all the product. So if we continue to have the levels of Safety Code 6 high as it is now, we're going to have major health problems. And we're seeing it now. People are having major problems. I measure and I work with people that have problems and they don't know what to do. Most of them don't know what the problem is. And secondly, a lot of them they don't have any options. Most of the options are moving away. And a lot of people say, hey, I can't move to a town with nothing because towns are now being loaded with 5G. Thank you.
It's a conspiracy. 100% is. They're ramming it through no matter what, and they don't want to even talk about it. So we got to get the word out. So thanks for being out here.
Thank you.
Beautiful. So yeah, we'll send you through your website. We'll send you a link when the video's up if you want to see it. Okay, we'll find you. Cool. All right, we're going to interview some more beautiful humans. Let's start with this guy. Hello. Would you like to talk to us about a little bit about who you are and what you're doing here today?
Mic is on?
Yeah, it's on.
Okay. Well, I've actually been involved in the industry for about 11 years now, testing homes and hospitals and businesses for wireless technology and cell phones, cell towers, cordless phones, all that. And so today's an opportunity for us to band together and show our support for banning 5G. At least having the people take a look at it, It's just people are not reading the science that's out there. It's been available since the 50s about microwave radiation, and I think it's just time that we take a look at it before more people get hurt. Yep. I have many of my clients who are very sick.
Because they were exposed in what capacity?
Well, the science, wherever Chris is there with the small cells, where those small cells go up in neighborhoods, people say within 100 yards are going to be influenced quite significantly, and they get heart palpitations and heart arrhythmia. They got to go in and get their heart balanced out with electricity, and as soon as they walk away from those antennas, the symptoms stop. So it's pretty good proof right there as far as I'm concerned.
I don't know. I hear that we need more research and there's nothing conclusive, and
I think that it's a really lame excuse that we.
Isn't it though?
I mean, when you consider that it's been available since the 50s with the U.S. Navy.
Apparently, these frequencies were used as a weapon. They've experimented with it as a weapon, and it works. It's quite effective.
U.S. military has been using it. It's called active denial system, and it's based in millimeter wave technology. Same as technology, the millimeter wave that they use for the airport scanners. Same thing. And you don't dare want to resist going through one of those, which I just did about 3 weeks ago. And you would have thought that I was carrying loaded guns into the airport or something. Yeah.
Yeah, I never go through those things. I get the pat down, and that's fine with me.
Well, I have an.
I kind of like it.
I have an artificial knee, and that sets off the triggers right there. But I actually had a pair of socks on that had a copper band on them, and man, oh man, I like 2 or 3 pat downs, and then they forced me to go through the millimeter wave.
They can't. It's illegal.
Yeah.
They can't force you to go through. Is this in Canada or the U.S. side?
Try to get away with that when you're racing for an airplane.
But
you just want to get through it. And I had all kinds of people looking at me like I said, it was like I was carrying a loaded firearm. So
amazing. Well, thanks.
I hope people take an opportunity to just type in 5G, go to Environmental Health Trust or Dr. Magda Havas, or more importantly, look up the BioInitiative report. That's over 5,000 studies right there that they could get all kinds of information. And thanks for you guys being here to record this.
Thanks for being out here and in the shitty weather, getting the word out. And, well, we're all in it together now, so got to do what we can.
And all of us are going to be subjected whether we like it or not.
That's the thing about this that's really disturbing for me. It's like, you can poison the water, you can poison the food, but you can still, you can still detox, you can still change what you eat, you can still mitigate it. But this, if they get the field up and everyone's swimming in 5G, it's against the Nuremberg Code. I mean, it's a massive experiment with humans. You know what I mean? It's horrible.
Yeah, I know. And if people knew what the money being earned from Tesla cars was going towards, he's putting up 40,000 satellites. I'm talking about Elon Musk. And I don't think people even know that's where the money's going.
All right. What's up, beautiful people? Can you tell me who you are and what you're doing out here today?
Okay, my name is Amabile Ranta. And actually, I fought a cell tower in my neighborhood, and we won. My neighbors and I won. It was on Davison's farm. And then I started to read about RFRs and cell towers and
first question, how did you win that battle? Because that can be tricky.
What we did was I put an online petition. I went to the Rogers meeting, and I went to knock on the door 3 times. I went up my neighborhood. You got to be there at that meeting. Then we had another meeting, and I did a presentation at the council. And again, we went 3 times. I also had a paper petition. And this gentleman over here, Chris, he helped me with the posters. And Chris and Sharon, and I was introduced to, I put also an article in the newspaper, so they contacted me. And basically, I just kept informing the neighbors about it, putting posters everywhere, and getting them going. Yeah.
Great. Well, congratulations. That's a good victory. Yes. That's right. Well, it's not the women; it's human power, isn't it? It's like it's neighborhood power. Whether you've got a vagina or not is kind of irrelevant, really. It's So, how about you, young lady? Who are you? What you doing here?
I'm Glover. I'm a neighbor, and it's Amabile that got me involved because we're going to have a cell phone tower behind our back wall, which we're not impressed about. And we have family members that are cancer survivors. We're concerned about the health risks more than anything. So, yeah.
You're here getting the word out, eh?
Trying very much, trying to encourage people to take action. Even if things go ahead, at least try and make a stand. Yeah.
Well, I think we have no choice at this point, right? It's like, it's do or die time.
And I'm a cancer patient as well. I had a stem cell transplant, so I know about cancer. And as I went up and down the block, there's about 10 people who were recovering from cancer or have cancer. So cancer is serious.
And it can be avoided, or there's a lot you can do, but putting up 5G towers everywhere, it's not going to help.
No, especially for children. children are very susceptible.
You know what we noticed? They're specifically putting up the towers in Vancouver near schools where kids are. They're doing it on purpose. They're doing it on purpose. It's crazy.
We had that was what we fought in the city. We fought our cell tower. Said there was close to a school. It was 412 meters. The danger range, I believe, is from 300 to 500 meters, up to 1,000 actually. So that's how we fought. We went. That was one of the things that we went on. Yeah.
Yep, shocking stuff. I think we should just start putting ads up in newspapers that say, a question: why are they putting cell phone towers specifically near our near schools? You know what I mean? Like, get people thinking.
Hospitals and senior centers. Like Chris, he knows. He's been checking out the small towers, and he knows a lot about it. Yeah.
Anyway, thanks for being out here.
Yeah.
God bless you guys.
Yeah, bye.
Hey, Chris, it seems like, according to my friend here, it seems like they seem to be putting up the towers specifically near schools where people are most vulnerable, near kids. I mean, that's taking a conspiracy to the next level. I mean, you got to be extra evil to be doing that.
It has been a question. They also put the collectors for the smart meters near schools as well. If you look in this town, Maple Ridge, BC, there's quite a bit of small cell antennas like this right near the seniors' homes in downtown Maple Ridge, 224th. And there's more than there should be on that one street right beside all these buildings where the seniors live. I don't know a lot of seniors that use a lot of cell phones or wireless devices. I don't think there's an exception in that location. So it mystifies me why they're doing that. And why did they need to be beside schools? It doesn't make sense.
Well, it makes sense if you're literally trying to destroy the future. Get the kids sick. Get the kids sick. That's it. It's really, really suspicious.
Yeah, a lot of kids are using Wi-Fi in schools. They're using cell phones. They have Wi-Fi at home. If they're using cell phones, they're getting constantly bombarded by wireless. And it's affecting their health. They may not realize it now, but they will at some point, and they'll ask, why didn't this generation warn them and do something about it?
Well, we're trying. we're trying to do what we can. All right. Beautiful. Thanks for being out here at this protest as well as the last one. You brought your kids out here. What's going on?
Well, we're here to protest the deployment of 5G, the next sort of generation of wireless technology, which is going to be in basically on every lamppost and from the space, trying to blanket the entire planet. And it's not safe. The industry hasn't proven it's safe. Contrary to that, as a matter of fact, there's studies showing that it is not safe. It's harmful. And so, according to the Geneva Convention, you're not supposed to be doing experiments on people without their consent. So this is a grand experiment done by the industry with support of the government that is not necessary because, frankly, convenience should never trump safety.
Well, let's be honest. If you looked into it even a little bit, this has nothing to do with internet speed or convenience. This is going much, much deeper. They know it's bad for you. They're specifically setting up these new masks near schools. We're all over. We're seeing them putting them near schools. It's like they're specifically targeting children. This is horrific.
It is horrific, and it's one of those things that I'm sure that eventually these people will be accounted for, but it will be too little, too late. So we need to do the prevention, and people need to rise up. And frankly, they are rising up around the world, right? In Italy, we've seen moratoriums. They had certain cities and whatnot. They acknowledged it. Other countries are following suit. But
Switzerland is happening. People are fighting back.
Switzerland as well. But it always comes from the people, right? So that's exactly what we're doing here. It may seem only a few people, but the thing is, just like climate change, right? It's a swell. It needs to rise. It will happen, yeah. Hopefully sooner than later, right? Because unrolling the technology is harder to do than preventing it to be put up.
Now here's a question: your kids are in school. What if they set up massive 5G masks in your kid's school? What would you do? What are you going to do?
Well, we're going to have a sit-in, protesting those things because I'm going to try to hold people accountable.
Serious question. If your kids started to say, hey, we feel sick, we can't focus, we got headaches, and they would not take the masks down, what would you do?
Pull them out of school.
Yeah, you'd have no choice, right?
Yeah, no choice because you know what? When they were born, I signed up this invisible contract that said I have to, look after their health and well-being. So if the school aren't doing it, I have to do it. It's my own primary responsibility, right?
God bless you for being here. Okay, thank you guys. All right, I'm here with Luca. He's here at the protest of the deployment of 5G. What's going on? Tell us about why you're here.
I'm here to protest against the 5G, to go into the schools and to go into the city because, first of all, I don't want it in our schools because it's going to affect us majorly later. Even if we don't feel it right away, it's going to damage us. That's it. I don't know what else to say. I'm just here to protest against it.
How do you feel about the fact that your own government, that's basically coming out of the tax money that your parents and everybody else is spending, their number one job is to protect our safety, and they're completely not doing that? How does that make you feel as a young one?
It's like government doesn't really care. They just want money. That's what it feels like to me. Drilling for all the pipelines and everything, most of what they do is bad.
A big percentage. All right. Well, thanks for being out here. High five. Bam.
I'm from Maple Ridge, and I've been interested in radio frequencies and their harm for a long time, like the 2, 3, 4 LTE, and the small cells that are going to line our streets and throughout the world. And that's why it's so important to get the message out that today is Global 5G Day. There's over 240 cities participating, and this is just the start. This is such an important part of why we are going to survive on the planet. It's costing us a lot of money monetarily, but lives and every living thing, animals, plants, and people don't realize that we live in such a toxic world, and the telecommunications is at the top of this toxic mess. Yeah. So hacking, I'm sure that you're aware of the problem with wireless. And just in the province yesterday, there was a really good blurb that is saying that $3 billion per year in Canada is the price that we're paying for hacking of information. Something has to be done about that. And we do have solutions. That's just it. We do have solutions.
Well, I've heard so much about all the bad stuff about 5G. Do you think there's any positives? For example, it's going to get so many people sick. Probably eventually people are going to lose their shit. There are going to be lots of suicides. It may very well cause so much cancer and suicides that we reduce the population. Maybe it's good, and it's going to reduce the population. What do you think?
Isn't that horrible what you just said?
Of course it's horrible. It's terrible. That's the point.
That's absolutely abominable. Yeah.
The funny thing is, they know that's I think that's actually the plan. I'm not even being funny. I think that's actually the plan, to get people sick, because they know it's bad, and yet they're pushing it forward without, they're doing it in the sneakiest way possible. They don't want anything known about it whatsoever. Do you think there's a grand conspiracy here?
I'm not going to go there. I am so just concentrated on getting the awareness out so that there can be alternatives for people to choose. Maybe, that's part of it, but that's not what I'm concentrating on.
Good enough for me. Thanks for being out here and getting the word out. God bless you. That was a joke about it's being to kill. I mean, I was just being silly about the killing everybody. You know what I'm saying? That's like the only positive I can think of. Well, if we wipe out billions of people, there'll be more space for those of us that survive, right? That makes sense.
That's part of it, and I'm sure that a lot of people would agree with you, but a lot of people would think you're from Quack City.
I think they're from Quack City, from trying to wipe everybody out. Well, I'm interviewing people. I'm the poster. Hey everybody, it's the end of the day here at our second protest in Maple Ridge, Vancouver for this anti-5G protest day. It's been great. Not a huge amount of people, probably about maybe a dozen and a half here. First protest, maybe 2 dozen, but 22 people. We got 22 here. Fantastic. I've been corrected. And what can I say? Yeah, you know, small but dedicated, really amazing people that really care about the future of humanity and their kids and all of us. And they're doing what they can. There's some people who've been honking and supporting, which is good. But I really feel like this is the beginning of a huge awakening. And I really think this whole 5G thing is really going to be the thing that snaps people just into what's really, really going on here on planet Earth. And so, yeah, it's been great. I hope lots of people see this. If you really enjoyed this, get it out there, share it with people. And, yeah, I'm just going to keep, you know, doing whatever I can do to get the word out because this is a serious thing. This is a serious thing. We really got to stop this for our future. So God bless you, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.